With many years of paranormal investigating under our belt, there has been some amazing evidence collected from some amazing locations. Many of these locations have not been featured in any video from 4State Paranormal, nor do all of our investigations make it to haunting history. We are opening the vault and bringing you inside some of our most memorable investigations and telling you our story firsthand. So take a trip with us as we explore our haunted past. We first investigated the Crescent Hotel in, I think it's 2007. And it was Mike, Gene, and myself, the original guys from Paranormal Investigators of Southwest Missouri. Our first time there, we pretty much did what everybody did. We rented a room and we just kind of walked around the hotel. Unfortunately, we had an incident with an employee who decided to screw with us. And we figured, you know, if this guy's screwed with us, everything we recorded is just crap. It's all gone. So, what we ended up doing was we reported it to the GM the very next day. And the Crescent Hotel ended up being gracious, and they gave us another night at a later date. They gave us another night and gave us access to the whole hotel. And they also reprimanded the employee. So that was awesome. So on our second trip, that was when things really kind of picked up for us. It was pretty awesome. So there wasn't a whole lot of people there. There was maybe 7 guests in the whole hotel. And we had free reign. We actually caught some EVPs while we were there. And we experienced some pretty awesome stuff. The first thing that we captured that we didn't even know about, we were walking on the 3rd floor. This is technically it's the 4th floor. This is the floor where the lady in the mist, the college student, I don't know how you want to put it, but some people say she was killed, some people say she committed suicide. Basically, she fell from that floor, landed out in the garden. On the concrete, and she was pregnant at the time, so that makes the story even more tragic. So as we're walking down that hallway, we picked up this audio piece which sounded very creepy to me. It still creeps me out to this day. It's just one of those EVPs. But in the audio piece, you'll hear us walking on the floor. You'll hear the floor crunching and creaking, and you'll hear a jingle, which is the cat running with us. But as the cat runs by us, you hear the jingle, and then you hear what sounds to be a woman sobbing or gasping for air. Here's the clip. One of the coolest things about this EVP kind of revolves around ghost adventures, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about that at the end of the video. So later that night, we were all talking. It was just Gene and Mike and myself, and one of the things we knew was room 218. That's where the ghost of Michael likes to hang out, supposedly. Michael was a stonemason during construction of the hotel, fell to his death and landed in what is 218. Now Michael was a bit of a ladies' man, has a thing for the ladies, even in death, and supposedly he likes to mess with them in room 218. So Mike was actually starting to see this girl, and we thought it'd be funny if we just brought her here and didn't tell her anything about it and left her in 218 to see if anything happened. So while we're discussing this and we're talking about it, we ended up picking up this really odd voice. I don't want to say it's a demon. I don't want to put that category out there, but it does have a very dark tone to it, a disturbing tone to it. But it seems to say something along the lines of, "We agree, leave her." And here's that audio clip. So the next time we went to the Crescent Hotel, we did bring Tabby, the girl that Mike was seeing, and we ended up splitting up into two groups. Mike and Tabby, they went off investigating, and myself and Gene, we went to the dining room. Now, when Gene and I were in the dining room, we actually experienced what sounded like footsteps, like boots walking on hardwood floor, and it was walking around the dining room for about 15 minutes, like off and on. And it was the first time we'd ever heard anything like that. It was just insane.
Don't be afraid. Is that Gigi?
No. I'm not moving.
Did you hear it?
I heard footsteps.
Keep coming. Hear that one?
Yeah.
During this time, Gene started taking a bunch of pictures. So we radioed for Mike and Tabby to come down to the dining room and check it out. And they actually came in there, and they sat there and they listened to the walking around. Now the picture, let's get back to that. Now the picture, in this picture, here's the original. The thing to know about these chairs is there's a brass backing that goes along the back of them, around the top. It arches. And this one particular chair, you can see the light reflecting off of the brass backing. But what is sitting in the chair is what we found peculiar. The next day, when we shared our experience with hotel staff, we were actually told another little story about a man who would come down to wait for his fiancée to join him for breakfast, and she never shows up. So we didn't know about this story the night before when we captured and experienced the footsteps. So could that story have some validity to it? We don't know. But we did capture something that corresponds with it. But this was just the beginning of our experiences at the Crescent Hotel. Future investigations yielded more evidence, and John, Jeremy, Barry, we all got to experience more, and in future video we'll share some of those experiences. But until then, let me get back to this first piece of audio in which correlates with Ghost Adventures. See, Ghost Adventures investigated the Crescent Hotel and aired the episode this year. And there was something that I found peculiar whenever I was talking to my friend Justin Spurrier, who is the equipment manager for Ghost Adventures. While they were there, Ghost Adventures rented out the whole hotel. And Justin and another guy from the crew, had an experience where when I was talking to Justin, he told me that they heard a woman crying. And they didn't know I had this audio. And I sent Justin the audio clip. And I was like, did it sound anything like this? And sure enough, it was exactly what they had heard. To the T. The sobbing, the gasping for air. He said there was nobody in there. They just assumed that, there had to have been somebody. And this is before the investigation and everything like that. This is like the whole setup and everything. But, yeah. 10 years later, more than 10 years later, I guess, a piece of evidence that we collected was experienced by somebody that works for the Ghost Adventures crew. I find that very amazing, and it's a spectacular, match. So keep your evidence, guys. If you investigated a place like years ago, and just talk to people, and if they've had an experience that's similar, share your evidence. Maybe you've caught something that they've caught, or maybe you've got something that they've experienced. It's very cool when things work out that way. So until then, until next time, thank you for joining me. And in the next video, we'll go further with our experiences from the Crescent Hotel.